What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video we got our tier list for the mythic dog heroes in Oh My Dog. S tier, A, and then B. I always keep my tier list pretty simple, S being the best, A being about mid strong, and then B kind of being the weaker ones. As always, tier lists are opinionated. You may or may not agree with this. We'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll also make a tier list for the oranges, the legendaries. But right now we're just going to do the mythics, all the red backgrounds. First one we got is Napoleon. Now this is a warrior, which means he's kind of like a frontline damage dealer. He's got some really good AoE damage. Really good. His basic skill hits all enemies, which I really love. And he also has a passive ability. This one, I love this. Goes ahead and it makes him deal true damage, and the true damage can have crit attack. So this is like really strong in the game, really strong. He also has some other really cool effects. When an other ally dies, restores a bunch of his own attack. Some niche things, but overall I think Napoleon's a solid character. He's not like super broken S tier, but I'm putting him in the A because I think he's strong, a good viable option to choose. Next one we have is Caesar. This guy is another solid frontliner. He has lots of self-healing though, which I think is absolutely amazing. We take a look at his active skill. He just does a bunch of damage, but then all of his passive skills have to do with him regaining some type of HP. So he goes ahead, gains 15% of his lost HP. When his HP falls below 30%, he gains more HP. He's a really strong, amazing tank with tons of self-healing. But there is one other tank that we have that's mythic that I think is better than him. So I'm gonna put Caesar in the A. You could put him in the S if you wanted to, but I'm putting him in the A for right now. Next one we have is the triple kill. This guy, he's all right. He's not super crazy. He's got a little bit of uniqueness to him. He's a decent range damage dealer. He also has a self heal and he can deal some crit damage as well. He goes ahead, fires lava, performs 3 consecutive basic attacks, which is kind of cool, I guess. He has some passives that adds crit attack, and also when he does do a crit hit, he goes ahead and restores a bunch of his own HP based on the amount of attack damage, which I think is pretty cool. He's got a little bit of self-healing for a ranged damage dealer, but you really don't need your ranged damage dealer to have any self-healing. I mean, as long as you have a solid supporting healer, you're pretty much set. So because of that, like, I would want him to be more offensive and not have stuff like that, for my personal take on it. I'm gonna put him in the A. I think he's a decent range damage dealer. One that I was debating on putting in the B because I think he's really just, I don't know, some of his skills just feel like they're not super strong to where I would want them to be for a ranged damage dealer. Next one we got is the Dragon Doll. Now this one, I absolutely love this dog right here. This hero goes ahead, absolutely insane assassin. He targets the enemies with the lowest percentage of HP, and then you'll see he acts randomly 2 to 5 times. But the whole idea behind it is a lot of his things, like this passive, he gets extra attack and crit. This passive though, I think is by far amazing, and this is what puts him in the S tier for me at least. He goes ahead, marks the enemy with the lowest HP, and the target receives extra damage, and when it dies, it permanently increases the attack of all our allies by 15%. I mean, that alone is really strong. So he's constantly marking enemies, and then as they're destroyed, buffing our entire team's attack. I mean, come on, that's an S tier for me. Absolutely amazing assassin. Next one we got is Cleopatra coming at ya. She is a support, and I think she is by far the best support in this game. She's got some amazing skills, and the fact that her passive ability lets her revive one of our fallen heroes. I think, you know, anytime you're able to do revive, hey, that's really strong. Also has the ability that has a chance to stun the enemy. Now it is a low chance, and it's kind of like, all right, I mean, if it was guaranteed, that'd be really broken. But we have a chance to stun enemies, and the basic skill, it curses and summons several mummy coffins to all enemies. But overall, I think Cleopatra, we're putting her in the S tier. I think she's one of the best supports in this game. Moving along, we have Athena. Now she's another support, and honestly, I think Athena is another top tier S. Cleopatra is more of a supporting character where you get like revival and the chance to stun and random like buffs and stuff like that. Where Athena is just a straight healer. You get all kinds of healings, nothing fancy, just tons and tons of AoE healing for your team. And then passive, when she does attacks, it restores HP to one ally. I mean, she's just a healing machine. And because of that, I have to put her in the S because she just does so much healing. So both of them, either one, it depends on the situation. If you want straight healing, go with Athena. Next one we got is King Arthur. This is our frontline warrior guy. One of my other favorites. Does a ton of damage. Really, really massive amounts of damage. The really cool thing though is this right here. When his HP drops below, he immediately cleanses himself of all CC effects, restores his rage to full, so you're gonna get your rage effect off, and increases his own attack by 100%, speed by 100 points, and also absorbs 50% of the damage dealt to enemies to restore his own HP. The Divine Guardian, this is super, super broken passive. I mean, that's just the one. I mean, he's also has other things where we're getting extra attack for 3 turns, his HP, all these extra buffs, and then his active skill summons the fire dragon, deals a bunch of damage. Overall, another super duper broken hero. I'm putting him in the S, another top tier that you definitely want to have on your team. From there, we have Lolly Gunner. This is the Candy Girl. Now, this is the one that I think is the weakest out of all the mythics. I'm actually going to end up putting her in the B category, even though like triple kill, I was kind of debating on putting him in the B as well. But this one right here, a Lollipop Gunner Girl, this one, she has her basic skill, which does damage, a chance to stun enemies. Now, her whole thing is stunning enemies, but it's a chance. And the problem I have with that is the fact that all of these, it's just a chance. And if you don't trigger that stun effect, what else does she really bring to the table? You know, I mean, that's all she has going for her. And because of that, like as a ranger, a damage dealing ranger, I would want someone who brings more versatility, who brings more guaranteed effects that are going to go off. Moving along, we got Super Dog. Now, this is the one that I think is the S tier tank. I think he's better than Caesar. He's really, really strong for just a lot of reasons. He has self-healing, he has buffs, he can also stun the enemy by chance, which I understand it's by chance, but the fact that it's a tank and there's so much versatility to it. The active skill does damage. We got the chance to stun the enemies, but more importantly, we got stuff like this. When our HP drops below 30% for the first time, we immediately recover 40% of our HP and increase our own damage defense by 50 for 3 turns. We've got stuff like this where, again, we're just getting extra buffs, extra buffs to our thing. And look, can restore HP on its attack when using a base attack. So much self-healing. 100%, I'm putting him in the S tier. I think this is by far like the better tank as opposed to Caesar. From there, we got our last 3. We got Banknote. Now, in this game, the assassins, man, the assassins are super broken in this game. I think Banknote, I mean, he's insane. He goes ahead, he does a crit rate increase, deals 500 damage to one randomly selected enemy in the back row, which is really good. You're going to be taking out the enemy's supporting hero, which, hey, I mean, that's good. You're going to reduce their rage, and if you destroy the target, you instantly get 100 rage. So overall, I mean, it basically refreshes on kill if you kill the enemy. We got a passive skill where he enters the stealth mode. He can recover his max HP by a percentage, and then he can't be targeted by enemies when he is in stealth mode. So there's a lot of really cool things. It's based, look at this, cache ability. It just gets insane buffs. All these like coding errors with the text where they just didn't type things in right. But overall, Banknote, another S tier hero. From there, we have Wizard Dog. Now, Wizard Dog is one that I think is okay, but because of the fact that this has to go off for Wizard Dog to really get maximum benefit. And what I mean by that is summons a total of 5 meteoroids. They each go ahead and they only deal 50% damage. That's really low damage. It's 5 though, and it's to random targets. And it goes ahead and it gives them a mark of arcane. And then if the target has 3 arcane, the arcane explodes, and then you get the huge payoff. Problem with that is if you don't get that huge payoff, again, it's not guaranteed. This is like straight gambling. You could have the 5 meteoroids hit other enemies, and then those enemies maybe got 2 stacks of arcane and one of your other heroes kills them. Because of that, I'm not putting Wizard Dog in the S, I'm putting him in the A just because of that. And you have stuff like, this is a unique ability that I kind of like, the Elf Broom, where Wizard Dog's on his magic broom. He's got a chance to be immune to all damage, which I think is kind of cool. But other than that, we get like a little bit of buffing, and then we have endless energy. So at the beginning of each turn, we recover 50 rage, which is good. From there, our last one we have is this is like our K-pop dog, K-Dog Idol. This is one that is quite interesting with the RNG gambling again. With our passive skill, our basic attacks now hit all enemies, which I love. I love that we're getting AoE on our basic attacks. We have a chance, a 20% rate to burn, freeze, or stun them. So you get 3 different debuffs that you could put on the enemy. The problem is, depending on which one it is, it might not always be ideal. However, the active skill does give you some extra things where if you do your active skill, extra damage, whether they're burned, frozen, or stunned. And then the passive skill lets us recover HP if they're stunned, or it buffs our attack if they are frozen. So there's a lot of cool little different things that go on with this. I don't think K-Dog is an S. I'm gonna put him in the A because I think it's a solid mage. It's a lot of RNG involved that you don't know which could happen, right? That is the tier list right there. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.